Okay, good morning and good afternoon again to everyone, whatever the case may be in your location. This again is Dane Marvin. I'm a senior account manager from Exxat. I love to thank you for joining us for the student compliance, which is part 3 of our 15-part Exxat Prism training series. Helping us today on this webinar are two of my colleagues, Sayantan and Ami. We have a few housekeeping announcements before we get started. This webinar is being recorded, and you will receive a copy of the recording approximately 2 hours after the webinar is complete. You will also be able to find the recording on our Exxat channel, which is now on Vimeo, posted under the showcase titled Exxat Prism Training Series. You will find today's presentation attached also in the handout section in the GoToWebinar control panel. Feel free to follow along as Sayantan goes along. Please use the questions section to ask questions or comment throughout the presentation. We will be manning the questions and addressing them during our scheduled question breaks. If you're having any technical difficulties, please use the chat box and we will do our best to help you out. And also important to remember is today we have an audience from multiple disciplines. Therefore, we will be using screenshots and data from different disciplines across our slides. We will also use a combination of going into the live system to demonstrate some things and then going back to the slides as needed. So without further ado, here is Sayantan. You may begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan, for the lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for attending this webinar today. So as you can see on my screen, my name is Sayantan Basu. I am working as a senior customer success specialist in Exxat for the last 2 years. And it has been a great journey for me working with this company. So today we will discuss on how you would be able to manage and how you will be able to activate and review the student compliance documents. So let's get started. So what is compliance? So compliance documents are clearance documents for the clinical placements. You can configure, collect, review, and communicate with students about the clearance documents for the clinical education. The best part is it is already integrated in Exxat Prism. Using compliance documents through Exxat is already included in the contract. You don't have to pay anything extra to use this feature of the Exxat Prism system. So the agenda for today's webinar, as you can see on my screen, firstly, we will discuss the cohort level requirements, how you would be able to activate the cohort level requirements, then how would the student will be able to upload those requirements, and how you would be able to finally manage and review those requirements that has been uploaded by your students. Then we will see how to set up the auto notifications through the system. Then we will talk about the document categories, the different types of document categories which you can create and manage. Then we will talk about the sensitive documents, which is a very good feature for specific documents that cannot or that should not be accessed by everyone. Then we will discuss on the different types of document status. Then we will discuss how we'd be able to manually set up the follow-ups and set reminders. Then finally, we will review the compliance via different section, via your cohort, via individual students, and also via individual documents. And lastly, we will see how to track and manage all the compliance documents through a consolidated dashboard and summary, and then we will talk about the reports that we have. So first, let's talk about how you will be able to set up the compliance documents. So to access or to go to the compliance section, you can, from the dashboard, you need to click on the student compliance under program section or under the program box, which will be on the left side of your screen. Or if you are in any other section of the system, from the left side menu, you simply click on student compliance and you will land into the compliance page. Now on the right side of this screenshot that you see on this slide, so there are 3 options at the top: setup, compliance review clarifications. Okay, so to set up the compliance documents, you need to simply click on setup. Okay, and we will discuss on this compliance review clarifications and view by cohort, hide cohorts, all this stuff later on. Right, once you click on the setup, then you will land into this page. So first, if you're a new program that you have like using the compliance first time through Exxat, you have to click on apply template. Okay, that is the first step. So first of all, when you click on the setup, you have to select the desired cohort from the left side cohort drop down, and then you have to click on apply template. So apply template is basically, it's you're actually activating the compliance, like you're actually activating the requirements that you will be able to customize and then finally activate it for your students or for your cohort. Right, so as you can see on the screen, before you actually click on apply template, which is on the right side of your screen in blue, the requirements, so these health and immunization, insurance, these are categories which we will discuss in our later slides, right, in our upcoming slides. But as you can see, the requirements which are like annual physical, COVID-19 test, professional liability insurance, you can see these are eye icons. So on the screen, there is no way you will be able to edit unless and until you apply the template. So please make sure when you're first doing the setup, make sure to click on apply template, right? Then as soon as you apply template, you see the same requirements under the same categories. You will see that eye icon will be gone and you will be able to see the pencil icons as you see on the slide, which is highlighted, right? So by clicking on this pencil icon, now you will be able to customize those individual requirements under these categories, which you can see on the screen. Now let's talk about the 4 icons beside this pencil icon in details, right? So you see on the screen, there are mainly 2 colors. One is green and another one is gray. So green means the feature is enabled, and gray means the feature is yet to be enabled or disabled. Now, the first one, which you see the tick mark or the check mark, right? That means that the feature is enabled for the cohort. If it is gray, then it is disabled. To enable that, you need to click on the pencil icon and then you will be able to enable it. Then the next one is mandatory, whether you want to mark this requirement mandatory for your students to upload. So this feature is available for you. You can mark it mandatory or non-mandatory. Then whether a review is required or not. So review required is, in every school and every university, there's a compliance officer or the program administrator, right, who review these documents. So you can actually decide whether that review is required or any review is not required. That is in your hand. You can actually decide and activate that review required option. Then the last one is whether this document should be included in the profile link that needs to be shared with the preceptors or supervisors or clinical instructors at the locations, at the placement locations of the students. The students will be able to share this, and also you have the capability to share these documents in the profile link, which we will discuss how you will be able to see those in the system. All right. And lastly, to change the colors and to enable or disable these features, you need to click on the pencil icon and you will be able to do that. Right. Now, as you see on the screen, there are some standard default requirements under standard categories which are already available for you. You can simply click on these pencil icons and then you will be able to activate and customize the requirements as per your program's needs. However, if you feel that no, I would need additional category or additional requirement under the existing categories, that you will be also able to do it. So you see, to create a new category altogether. So what are categories here? health and immunization, verification, stroke identity documents, insurance and liability coverage. These are individual categories. And these COVID-19 test, COVID-19 vaccination, then here background check, drug screening, then under insurance liability coverage, professional liability insurance, auto insurance. These are requirements. Okay. Now to create a new category altogether, here the option is available on the left hand side of your screen, which says add a new category. By clicking on this, you would be able to give your choice of the category name. And then in that, if you want, you can add the requirement. Also, you don't want to create a new category altogether, but you want to add a requirement under the existing category. Suppose health and immunization, you want to add a requirement which does not exist in the standard requirements, right? So you can click on this plus sign, as you can see on the screen, and you will be able to create the requirement under the existing category. Now, when you click on the pencil icon, how the details of the requirements you would be able to customize and set up for your students. Let's go through that one by one. Now on the left hand side of my screen, which says simplified, right? So there are two views, simplified and detailed view, right? So you can choose either of them, and then you can customize that requirements as per your program's needs. So on the left hand side, which says simplified, here you can see you can change the requirement alias, you can change the requirement short name, and through the simplified view, you can simply, if you want to collect the start date of the requirement or the expiration date of the requirement, and who would enter the expiration date? Is it entered by student, or if you want to enter the dates that it expires automatically in like this number of days and expires automatically on. So you'll be able to customize this, right? Then in the detailed view, you see from in the middle of the screen, in the radio button which says detailed, right? You will be able to enable the other details or the more detailed information, like the, as you can see for this COVID-19 test, uh, you can actually select the COVID dose 1, dose 2, or whatever doses, and then you can also set the expiration date for the students for these doses, right? So you will be able to customize this as per your requirement, right? Then you see you can actually mark it as mandatory from this toggle option, which in the screenshot you see it is enabled. Then whether you want to include this particular requirement in the profile link, then review required or not. So these are all toggle options or toggle buttons which you can turn on or turn off as per your requirement through one single click. It's very easy, right? And then the sensitive, which you can see is highlighted. We will talk about the sensitive documents in the upcoming slides, right? And then on the last screenshot on the right side of my screen, you can see, so when you scroll down further, right, once you have chosen the simplified and the detailed, you will get this option that do you also want to collect other details. You can choose yes or no, right? And then you can add the details accordingly, right? Then when you further scroll down, you will be able to add the due dates. Then you could enter the detailed guidelines for your students, and the students will see those guidelines every time when they click on that requirement and when they are uploading the documents for that requirement, right? So you can put the detailed guidelines for your students. And also when you further scroll down, you can add the detailed guidelines for the reviewers. Whoever is reviewing this requirement, you can add the guidelines for them also. Once you have chosen all your options from here, please make sure you see this enabled just above the simplified and detailed. Just make sure to turn that option or turn the toggle button on, right? And save it from you will get the save button on the top right of your screen. Okay, your requirement will be enabled. Now let's talk about the sensitive documents. So sensitive documents are those documents which needs additional level of security. So you can actually add the document level security. Okay, So items which are marked as sensitive documents require special permissions to have the view access, or rather to have the access to those documents. Okay. Sensitive documents or sensitive compliance items is not visible or will not be visible on the student profile, even if you want to share those documents in the profile link. You would not be able to do if the document is marked as sensitive. Then sensitive documents can, as I said, can only be accessed by authorized users. Okay, you can authorize which users will be able to access those sensitive documents. And the most important part is you won't be able to activate these sensitive documents when you're activating the compliance requirements. For these requirements or for these documents, you have to reach out to our support and they would be able to enable this sensitive documents. So you have to tell the details to our support team, and on the basis of those details, our support will be able to mark the document as sensitive. Now, once you have uh, chosen all your requirements, you have enabled it, right? Then the last step is you have to publish those documents. So please make sure, even after you enable all those documents, save them, whether you are creating any categories or creating adding requirements under existing categories, you will see that on the right side of your screen, you will see that publish option will get highlighted in bold blue, and it will have a number in parentheses or brackets. Okay, so that number will denotes that how many documents you have activated and how many documents are yet to be published, or how many requirements, I would say, yet to be published. So please hit on that publish option, and as soon as you hit on the publish option, you will see this message that this action will enforce the current requirement configuration for all students of this cohort. Are you sure you want to publish? The system asks you for the final time that do you actually want to publish these documents, or you have any customizations pending which you want to go back and do. If everything is good, you can go ahead and click on publish. All the requirements will be published to your cohort of students. Now, after you have published the documents, this good feature of the system is you will be able to set up the auto notifications. So auto notifications is you can set up the notification email which will be sent automated, which will be actually be automated, and it will be sent to your students automatically by the system. You don't have to worry once you activate that auto notification. And this auto notification email actually goes every Monday. It's a weekly notification that the students get. Right? So you can click on this auto notification option, and you will see this drawer will open from the right. So first you see enable email auto notification. So you have to turn this toggle button on. Okay, and you can see in the system you'll see this message that once enabled, auto notifications can only be disabled by raising a support ticket. So you can enable the auto notifications. You can put a due date. Just below that you see the notification end date. Okay, so you can put the end date of this notification, that when this notification you want to end, and from that date the notification will not go to your students. However, if you want to end this notification before this end date, then you have to reach out to our support to end those auto notifications. You won't be able to do it, right? And in this auto notification, what sort of documents, like what are the status of the documents that the system will identify and send the notification to your students? So basically the documents that are not approved, expiring, or expired status. Okay, or the mandatory documents which are in get started or in progress status. So for these specific statuses, these auto notifications will be sent to the respective individual students by the system. Now this is one more good feature we have. So if you're an existing user of Exxat Prism and you have already used the compliance documents, you have set up all the requirements for your previous cohort, you don't have to worry that for the next cohort again I have to apply that template, I have to activate all those requirements, I have to customize those requirements, and I have to publish, I have to I have to go through all those hassles. No, you don't have to do that. So when you click on the setup, you will see this option of select template. And when you click on the drop down, you will be able to find the previous cohorts that you have activated the compliance documents. So you have to select that cohort, and then you need to click on apply template. So this is basically, it will clone the previous cohort's compliance requirements into this cohort or the upcoming cohort. Okay. Then you simply have to go ahead and activate, or if you want to don't use some of the documents that you have used or you have asked your students for the previous cohort, you can do that changes, and then you have to just hit on publish. So this cloning feature is available for you. Okay, now let's talk about how you will be able to share these documents, or actually share the profile link along with these compliance documents with the sites or with the locations, right? So when the students are uploading the documents, so they will see this message that your academic program may share these documents with clinical sites at which you're placed. So they already know. So you don't have to worry that I have to tell my students that these documents will be shared for each of the requirements you have activated. No. So as and when they click on that particular requirement you've activated and you've asked them for uploading those documents, they will see this message on that requirement itself that this document will be shared by you at that student's placement location. Now on the right side of the screen, from the student profile, when you're sharing, so when you go to into that student account on the student profile tab, uh, you will see that share profile option on the right side, right? From that share profile, there are like drop downs available. So when you click on that drop down, you will see that include compliance documents in the profile link, right? So you can actually select which documents to share, or you can simply click on that select all, and you will be able to share all the compliance documents from the profile link that you're sharing with the preceptors at the placement location of that student. Or the next screenshot which you can see on the slide. So when you're sending the placement notification to the placement location, then you can use this merge fields which says student link with compliance if you want to share all the compliance documents or the compliance requirements with your placement location for the students. And if you don't want, we also have that merge field which says student link without compliance. Okay, so you can actually choose that merge fields. You can actually customize the template for the placement notification that you are sending, and then you can include these merge fields and you can share these documents with that placement notification email, and it will go to the respective preceptors or the respective reviewer. Yeah, that's the bulk emails. All right, so I will pause. I will take a brief pause, and let's see if you have any questions, Amy and Ten.
Um, I'm checking the question box. I don't see any questions till now. Um,
Okay.
but I wanted to check with everyone, is the sound okay on your end? Um, yeah, yeah, Deborah, go ahead. Please post your question.
The question is, what about uploading templates from Deborah? Deborah, could you clarify what types of templates or where you would be looking to have those templates uploaded from? Would this be like an outside system?
While she gets back to us, we have another question. Once you publish a cohort, can you go back and change anything?
No, once you publish a cohort, uh, then you can change the requirements, yes, and then you have to publish it again.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We do have another question is our program uses a pro via Exxat. Do we still need to upload compliance templates to the system?
No, that will be taken care by the approved team. If you have approved service, everything will be taken care by the approved team. You don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, they will work with you on the configuration call that you set up with them to decide on what those are. Sayantan, could you go back to the slide where you show the template? Let's see, uploading the templates. Yeah, because Donna has mentioned, let's see, there's a section at the bottom under the pencil icon. And this is in regards to her question on uploading templates.
Mm-hmm.
Where you select the template.
Mm-hmm. This one, like selecting
Yeah.
the previous cohort's template.
Yeah, so this would be, so Donna, just to give you clarity on this, this is referring to previous cohorts templates. You can apply them to a template that you're working on now. And then she says, thank you. So you do not have to delete it. No, you don't have to delete old templates. You can reuse them or refer back to them as needed.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, trying to see if there's any other questions here before we move on. I think that's it. So go ahead and proceed with the next portion, Sayantan.
Thank you, Dane. Thank you, Amy. All right, so let's go ahead. Okay, so now we will see the student end of how they see the compliance documents or the compliance requirements, how they will be uploading those requirements or the documents, and how they can extract the reports from them, right? So this is the student dashboard. So when the student logs in, they will land into this dashboard, and they can see this compliance tile on the right side top of the screen. Okay, and it will actually show how many documents needs attention, or rather how many documents that they have that the school has asked to upload. So they need to click on that compliance tile, and if they are in any other section of the system, or if they're in any other tile, right? So they can click on that left hand menu, and they need to click on compliance, and they can come to that compliance page again, right? Just like the school, the compliance officer, the school administrator can do that. The student will be also able to come to the compliance section from both these steps, right? Now, as you can see on the right side of my screen, this is how they will see the list of the documents and the status for all of those. Okay, so let me explain this screen in my next slide, right? So here, as you can see on the top, it says the number of documents that have been approved, the number of documents that are in pending review, and the last one, how many documents needs attention. Suppose any students have uploaded any requirement or uploaded any document for that requirement, right? And the compliance officer or the program administrator has approved the document, then the status will show us approved. Get started status is what the students need to watch out. So they need to click on get started, and they will be able to upload the document for that requirement. Then you see in progress status, which is in blue. So in progress means suppose they have uploaded the documents for that requirement, and the compliance officer is in process to actually review and then approve or disapprove that document for that requirement. So the status for the student, it will show as in progress. Pending review is the student have uploaded the documents for the requirement, and it is now in the purview of the compliance officer at the school to review those. So for the student, it will show as pending review, right? Now, as I said, they need to click on get started. So when they click on get started, so I have taken the example of one requirement, which is CPR. So which is like it's a common document, the CPR document, or the CPR certificate that the students need to upload for almost for all the disciplines, right? So I've taken this example. So here, so when they click on CPR and get started, so on the right side they will see the guidelines that the school has uh, put in or entered while setting up the requirements, right? So you can see the guidelines for students, right? Once they read through the guidelines, they need to click on the plus sign, which under that CPR details. By clicking on the plus sign, they will be able to see the details that they have to enter and from where they have to upload the document. So this screen will appear, right? At the top, you see, they can see or they can actually enter the date of the course. Then they need to enter the expiration date, then the provider name. So here you see for date of course, expiration date, provider, there is a star mark beside that or asterisk beside these. So these asterisks means that these are mandatory fields that the students have to enter. Without entering the data in these mandatory fields, the system will not allow the students to submit these documents for review. Okay, so you can let your students know that please watch out for the mandatory fields where you need to enter the data for each of the requirements. Okay, then from the upload files, that is where they have to actually upload the actual attachment or the file for this requirement, for the CPR, right? And just below the upload files, they will see what are the supported formats of the documents, what is the file size, what is the maximum file size that the system can accept. So it is ideally the file size should be under 10 MB. Above 10 MB, if the students try to upload the document, it might fail. Okay, or the document might not get uploaded properly, or even if it gets uploaded, the reviewer or the compliance officer will not be able to view or download the document and see the actual file that the students has entered. So it is recommended that the file size should be under 10 MB. Okay, and then they have to click on submit for review. Once they hit submit for review, then the status from get started will change to pending review. All right, now here they can actually download this report into different formats, through different formats rather. Okay, so you see the student will see this download option and the extreme right top of the screen, right? So when they click on that option, or when they click on the download icon, this is the screen that they will get. Now here at the top, you see there are two options: download PDF report for selected documents or download files for the selected documents. Now, what are the difference? So download PDF report is if they want to download these list of requirements under these categories, right? Simply in a PDF format, then they can click on that download PDF report and it will download. Download files is actually they can select the requirements under the categories, and then they can actually download the file that they have uploaded, and all those files for those requirements will download in a zip format. Okay, so that is the difference between the download PDF report and the download files, right? And this is how, so I've taken a screenshot for you, for all of you, that you can see this is how the download PDF format looks like. So you can see the student name on the top, the academic institution, the program, right? The compliance summary and the dates are also given. Okay, what is the overall status, and you can see that the requirement, the individual status, expiration dates, and other details. So this is how the PDF report looks like. at the when the students are downloading the PDF format, right? Now let's talk about the compliance management. So we saw how the students will be able to upload all the documents for the requirements that you have asked them to do so. Now we will see how you will be able, or how your compliance officer will be able to manage and review those documents. Okay. So same way for reviewing the documents or for managing the compliance documents, right? They need to click on the, or you need to click on the student compliance, or from the left hand menu, you need to click on student compliance option, right? And you will land into this page, the setup, compliance and review clarifications, right? Now let me go to the system and show you this compliance management section, so that it will be better for you to better for me to showcase, right? So let me quickly go to the system. All right. So as you can see, so I'm into the system, right? And I can see the setup, compliance, review clarifications, right? I can see view by cohort, view by student, view by document. By student, by document, I'm coming later on. I will explain this later on. So I'm into this by cohort, and I can see the list of the cohorts, or the cohort, the previous cohort that, and what are the status of the compliance documents for those cohorts, right? So to do the setup, as we saw, we need to go into the setup, but for managing, we need to click on the cohort name, right? So I'm picking this class of 2025, for example, and now I will land into the dashboard tab. Okay, so this is how the dashboard will look for you in the system. So the first box, you say it's showing as by student. So the system will tell you how many students are there, how many, and these are the color codings and the descriptions that are given. So how many docs are approved will in green, some action needed in red, and no document started in gray. And you can see this pie chart. And when you hover the mouse over that, you can see no doc started for 2 students, some action needed for 2 students. Okay. On the right side, there's another box which says by document, and you can see the status for those: get started, in progress, pending review, which we saw at the student's end, right? So you can see in the dashboard like this, and you can see the individual requirements, right? You can see C19 vax, flu, hepatitis B, MMR, and all these like this. And you can see the color code denotes that. And this is also like when you hover the mouse, the system will show you the details. So see, there are this is get started for 2 students, pending review for 1 student, approved for 1 student. Then if I come here, there's not approved for 1 student. So you'll be able to see the by document status. And when you further scroll down, there is another box which says all documents, and it will show you like the number of students into the number of documents that you have activated and what is the status for those in this pie chart, right? And these are all clickable links, right? So suppose when I click on this pending review, it will actually take me to the summary tab beside dashboard, and it will filter out only those students which are in pending review. And I can see these columns are the individual requirements like C19 vax, MMR, TB, and I can see the status of pending review for those students, right? So simply you can click on this pending review status, and then you can review the requirements. Okay. So here on the right side, you see there's a filter icon, right? So if you don't want to see only these 2 students pending review status, and you want to go back to the dashboard and you want to see the consolidated summary of all the students of all the documents for your entire cohort, then you click on this filter icon. This is the status which has been filtered to pending review. Just uncheck this filter of pending review, click on apply, and then you will see the summary, the total summary. Okay, so you can see the 4 students, all the requirements in columns side by side, and the status of those. Some are get started, approved, pending review, not approved. So you'll be able to see like this. Okay. Now in the summary, how you will be able to actually review and manage the documents. Okay, so you need to click on this pending review. So for this student Kevin, I'm clicking on pending review. Okay, and this is the screen you will see. On the right side, you will see the guidelines for student that you have entered, right? Then here you will see under the required action, there's a document status. Okay, now before coming to this required section, you need to scroll down a little bit, right? And to view the actual document, this is the link. You see this view document. Okay, so when you click on this view document, you will be able to see the actual file of that actual attachment of that document which the student has uploaded. Okay, once you see that document, everything looks good. Then you come here, the document status, it's a drop down which is in pending review. You can click on this, select approve. Then on the right side, you can select the reason if you want to pick a reason for this, and then you can put your comments if you want. But this reason, comment, these are all non-mandatory. However, the document status should be changed. Otherwise, you would not be able to change the status of the document, and the students also won't understand what is the actual status of my uploaded document, right? Then once you have chosen all your options, you need to click on update status. When you click on update status, the status will change and it will change into approved like this in green color. All right. Then if you want to download the detailed report of the summary, so this is the document details report. Okay, so when you click on the document details report, okay, the system will show that the export is in progress and you may continue to use the system, and the document details report will get downloaded. All right, right. So let me go back to the slide. Okay, so this is what we went through, right? This is the dashboard which I just explained. Okay, this is the summary, and you need to click on the pending review, and yes, this is the one which we went through, that how would be able to approve or review the documents. Now let's talk about the notification. Okay, so just beside the summary tab, we have the notification, wherein from here you will be able to send the manual notification. So in one of the previous slides, we saw how to send out the auto notification. But to send a manual notification, if you don't want to use that auto notification feature, you can send the manual notification from this section. Okay, now let me go back to the system once again. Okay, so I'm coming to the notification. So here there are various ways which you can send the notification. So you see the first column that you can see the student name, and there are drop downs beside student name. Okay, so if you click on that drop down, you will be able to see the documents. Okay, let me take a good example. Yes, so for this student, you see some documents are in pending review, approved, get started, right, or not approved, right? So you can actually send the notifications for only the get started ones. Okay, so you can select that document for that student, and then you will be able to send the notification. This is one way. Another way is, if you don't want to find the actual documents that are in get started, you can simply select all the students and send the notifications. Also, if you don't want to go by this route, here is the filter option. You can on the right side of your screen, where you see my mouse cursor is. Okay? So you can click on the filter, you can come to the status filter, and you can simply select get started and filter. And the system will only filter the get started ones. So you see, we were seeing the example for this student, and you see only the get started is only showing up. Now you can simply select all the students, and then you need to click on compose email for sending the notification. So when you click on compose email, you will see first the list of the recipients, right? Then you can see the reply to. You can copy someone, blank carbon copy someone if you want from your school, right? Then you need to click on next. This is a template that is available, right? To preview this template, you see this preview option. You can click on preview and you can actually see the template. If you don't want to use this template, you can click on previous, and here is the add template option. So this is one good feature, that you can actually create your customized email template, and then you will be able to select that template or mark that template as a default template, and then you will be able to send the notification to your students. So when you click on this add template, you have to give the template name, which is mandatory, but this is completely internal. Students don't see this template. The subject is what the students see or the recipients see, right? Then here you have to, when you click on this paragraph, you can actually see the merge fields. So please make sure when you're creating the template, you should use this merge fields, like your student first name, student last name, email, document list. So these are the merge fields that are available. You can utilize these merge fields and you can create your template. Once you have entered or created your template, you can mark this as your default template by simply checking this box and save it. So when you do that, every time for any of the cohort you are using this template, the system will not system will show you your default template that you have created. It will not show the standard default template that Exxat has. All right, and then simply again you have to click on preview, and then you can send the email. Now there are two ways of sending the email. Either you can send the email right away, or you can send the email at a specific date and time later. So actually you can schedule the email. So when you select this option, okay, you can actually schedule the date and time of that email, and you can schedule it for future. So you don't have to worry, and the system will send the auto notifications on that date. The system will send the manual notification on that date which you have selected. All right. Let me go back to the slide. Okay, that's the notification which we discussed. Okay, there's the template which we discussed, right? And this is how the notification will look at the student's end. So you see the student name at the top, and then the details of the documents. This is how they will receive the notification. Now in the notification, once you've sent the email, you would like to check the history, that what is the status of the emails, right? So just beside that compose email, you see the history tab. You can click on the history tab, and this screen will open for you. So first you have the option of selecting the cohort from this drop down if you want to check the notification history from your previous cohorts, right? So you can select the cohort, you can filter it with the start date and end date, and you can also select the notification type, whether it was a scheduled notification you have sent it, or you have sent a live notification, right? And then in this, the next in this uh, column wise view, you can see first the recipient name, the recipient email address, the subject, the status. What is the status for those recipients, for those emails that you have sent? Who has sent this email from your school or university? What was the email sent time, and whether the email was scheduled or not? And here, when you click on the subject, which say the status of document uploaded to Exxat, right? You would be able to see the detailed email, the detailed body of the email which you have sent. Okay. So this is how you can check the history of the that you have sent. This document details report we have already discussed, right? So you can click on the document details report, right? This will show, and this is how the report gets downloaded, and you will be able to see like this. So you can see the cohort name in the first column, then the student, the email ID, and the requirements with the dates and other details. So this is how you'll be able to extract that document details report. So we can pause for I will take a brief pause and see if there are any further questions.
Yeah, Sayantan, so going back to the student view, when you were showing the student view, we just had a request from Cynthia to, if you can show us how at the school level you'd be able to see what the student is seeing. So if you could go into the live system, click on the mock and click the view as to show where the compliance section is for them.
Okay, let me see if I can try. Give me a moment.
And while he's doing that, Cynthia, you could also set up a mock student to test this out so that you, instead of seeing, exactly what your students are seeing, you could actually act as the student and see what it's like for them to complete the process of uploading those documents. So yeah, you could, for example, add a mock student to a cohort or create a mock cohort compliance template. But yeah, it looks like, so he's logging in as a mock student. However, you can simply just view the compliance module if you select view as, and then for any student that you click on, you'd be able to see their compliance as well.
Yeah, let me try because I'm not able to log in as the mock student.
Yeah, if
So
you can just click on one of the mock students' names in your view.
Yes, let me do that. Just give me a moment.
And then let's see. I do have one other question. When you choose to see the compliance for students in the dashboard or list, can you choose more than one cohort at a time, or is it only for one cohort? Such as looking to see if two cohorts are going out to clinic at the same time, can you view all the students together in one compliance list?
So I'm going into the student details, and I'm taking this example of the student, and I'm going to view as, and here is the compliance tile. So this is how the student sees the list of the compliance documents. They need to click on Get Started, but I would be able to do it because I'm in the View As, right? But this is how the student will be able to come to the compliance section. Does that answer your question, Cynthia?
Yes, that does. That does answer her question. Thank you. And as you can see, it said 9 documents require attention. So that's how you can see exactly how many,
Yes.
from your view, just going into each student, you can see how many it's telling them that they have to take care of in those terms. So,
and from the dashboard, the student can also see how many documents needs attention in the compliance time.
And then the second question, if you could go back to your administrator view. And then go to the compliance dashboard. The next question is, can you check the compliance for more than one cohort at a time in a single list view, or does it have to be by one specific cohort at a time?
So it is basically one cohort at a time. However, like I was about to explain this by student at the document. So when you click on this by student, right, you can see the document status for different students for the different cohorts that you have. From here, you will be able to do it. Okay, and these are clickable links. So suppose for this student for class of 22 Grace, so you can click, and then for this student, you can actually see the document status. Okay, and from here, you will be able to also review the documents if those are in pending review. But at the cohort level, if you're doing from this by cohort, then you will be able to do for the cohort level. Same way, you can do it from the by document.
Yeah, and if you're sorting in the by student column, you also have those filter options. So if your students that in your 2 rotations that you're talking about, Donna, if they were both in like 2 different cohorts, you could select just 2 cohorts and narrow them down on this student list view.
Yes. So if you want to select 24 and 25, You can do that and click on apply, and then you can see the status of the documents for those students for those cohort.
All right, she says perfect. So I think we're ready to move on.
All right, thank you. Thanks for the questions. All right. Okay, now let's talk about the compliance report. So just beside the notification, we have the reports tab, wherein mainly these two reports are available: pending review requirements and expiring or expired requirements. So you can click on either of them, and then you will be able to see the system will filter out the requirements for pending review, and then for the next option, expiring or expired requirements, system will filter out accordingly, and then you will be able to apply the filter and then export to Excel for this report. So this is how you'll be able to pull the reports for the compliance documents or for the compliance requirements along with the statuses. Now let's see how. So we saw that at the cohort level, when you go into the summary tab, how you would be, how we are actually reviewing and managing the compliance documents by clicking on the pending review status. If you don't want to go to that route, you can go to into the student section, and if you want to actually manage and review the compliance documents by individual student, you can do that. So click on that individual student name, and you need to click on the compliance tab, okay, which is available beside profile. So when you click on the compliance tab, you will see the list of requirements and the individual status. Like as you can see, for COVID-19 vaccination, it is in pending review. So these are clickable links. You can click on pending review, and the same way you will be able to review the documents and change the status of those, as you can see. Okay. So yeah, you need to click on this drop down, then you will be able to change the status, and from the bottom, you see that blue option which says update status. You can update the status and you can review the documents for that individual student. Okay. And this is another screenshot I've shown for a better view, right? For the health insurance, you can see, you can view the document from there. You can change the status, you can put the reason, and you will be able to update the status. So this is how, by individual student, going into the individual student's profile, you'll be able to review the documents. And from the same section, if you want, just like the students can download the report, same way the compliance officer or the program administrator at your school, you will be able to also download the report. It's through the same way. Okay. And here you can see both the options are available, just like the students have: download PDF report for selected documents, download files for selected documents. The same way the students have the option, you also have the same option. You will be able to download this report by individual student. Okay. Now this is also another good feature wherein you will be able to add the compliance items on students' behalf. Suppose there are documents that the students has not uploaded even after sending multiple notifications. So whatever is the reason, right? So those documents are expired or expiring. For those documents, you can add the compliance items of the compliance documents on the student's behalf. So you need to click on the status. So as you can see on the screen, so when you click on that expired status, right, this drawer will open for you, and you see that add new record. By clicking on that add new record, you will be able to upload the compliance documents, the actual compliance document file on the student's behalf. So this is a good feature that you have. If students has forgotten, or students have not uploaded the document, student is ill, whatever is the reason, you can do that on the student's behalf. Right. Then as we have already discussed, like compliance documents by various ways, by cohort, by student, and the last one is the compliance management by document. Okay. So here when you click on that by document, which is that after the by student tab, right? So by clicking on that, you will be able to actually see the list of the documents. In by student, you can see first in the first column the list of the students across all the cohorts. But here by document, you will see first the list of the documents in the first column, right? Then you can the next column after that, you will see the document status. Then you will see the student name and then their cohort and then the other details. Same way, you can click on the filter option, right? You can apply multiple filters which are available, right? And after applying the filter, you can see the status of the documents, and then you can also review or change the status of those individual documents for that student, for that cohort. So this is compliance management by document. Okay. All right. So ideally, we are done with today's webinar, but let me just briefly explain what is the approved service. So approve is basically a service that helps you manage the compliance needs for your students. You can actually enjoy, if you are subscribing for the approved service, then you can enjoy the seamless management of your student compliance needs with these services. So basically, if you're subscribing for the approved service, then you don't have to worry about anything. Approved team will sit with you or with your compliance officer, that they will tell you like how to configure these documents, how to activate these documents in the system. They will do on your behalf. Then once the students upload those documents, they will go ahead and review and approve or disapprove all those documents. You don't have to do anything. That is the approved service. It's an end-to-end service which they will do. And the team which we have in our system, in our organization, these team are well trained, so they know what are the importance of those documents, and they actually keep the complete confidentiality of those documents. So you don't have to worry on that. That's our approved service.
Yes, and Sayantan, just to add on to that, if you're interested in seeing a demo of how that approved service would work for you, please go ahead and contact your account manager and they would be happy to get that set up for you. And speaking as somebody who actually came from the user side myself, this is something that I wish that our university had subscribed to. It would have saved me a lot of hours. And I do know that a lot of you do not have full-time dedicated administrative staff to do things like this for you. And that would be a good instance in which you might make a case to have this service added. A lot of schools actually do set up a payment gateway in the system to have the cost of this service, which is a small annual fee, passed on to the student. So the students pay directly through Prism for that service annually. And then all of the compliance management, the review of documents, that's all taken care of by our team. And you would have a dedicated CSS who works with you in that regard. But again, thank you everybody for your time today, and thank you Sayantan for the wonderful presentation. That's all.
Yeah,
and
thanks, Jim. Yes. So just before ending the webinar, so these are the help resources that are available. So these are the help center documents that we have, right? So you can go through these documents, and these are documents with screenshots. Then these are help center for students, where we have help center documents for students, and also YouTube videos, wherein the student will be able to see how they can submit these compliance documents. Right? These are the video tutorials we have for the students. Right? And yes, that's it. So the next webinar in this series is sites and locations, which is next Thursday, which is May 30th. And this is the link of that webinar. Please feel free to join the next webinar. Yes, and thank you everyone. Right, and we will roll out a small short survey at the end. Please share your valuable feedback for this webinar.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in and spending your valuable time and learning about how the compliance service works.